big things. The last time Pastor owned his own vehicle, okay, was a brand new Toyota pickup. They had owned it for a couple months, and they found out a little later, he lent it to a ministry leader. That ministry leader was having an affair, and his mistress wrecked their truck. Because Pastor Vassak, Pastor Miss Amy, lent their truck to this ministry leader, and this ministry leader was just an idiot. So she wrecked their truck, and that was the last time he had a truck of his own. What is that? Well, they rebuilt it, but it didn't last a whole lot longer, so at least 20-something years ago. I don't remember it. They came back to, a little while later, about a year later, they came to Brewster, New York, started Calvary Baptist Church. Things are cranking, you know what I mean? I mean, they're in the storefront, and they knew they were going to struggle in the beginning, but I mean, that's okay. They're starting a church. They're doing something brand new for the Lord, right? After a few months, about 5 or 6 months, 1994 into 1995, they moved to the VFW, which growing up I called church, okay? Most of you probably would not call it church, but that was church to me, the VFW. And you know, you're thinking, okay, we're moving it's a dance hall, and that's fine, but it's going to be our church, right? We'll be out here soon enough, and we might struggle in the beginning, but we'll be okay. And if the beginning is where you struggle, then the struggle has lasted 26 years. But 1 year turned into 2 years, 2 years turned into 3 years, and 3 years eventually turned into a decade. 10 years in a dance hall with Pastor Miss Amy and obviously Grandma Pop. Every Sunday they'd wake up, sometimes 5 in the morning, clean beer stains off the wall, off the floor. They'd have to clean all kinds of, sometimes vomit off the floor, so we could have church. And that was church for me, and that was normal. And I didn't think anything about it, and I don't think any of us did, any of us kids anyway. That was church, and that's what he did. And still was out without his own vehicle, just drove a church vehicle. He made sure he provided for Mom and us, but you know, working 5 jobs at a time at one point. Just making sure that the church got off the ground, making sure that the Lord was glorified, that he was serving the Lord. And, you know, I mean, eventually it's going to turn out okay, right? Well, in 2005, we get this building, praise the Lord, and we merged with Heritage Bible Church. And I remember coming to visit the Fredericks and the Tessneys were here. Was there anybody else that was, I can't remember that first Sunday that we visited, but I remember visiting and thinking, wow, a church building, and this could be ours, wow. And it, you know, we merged and the Lord blessed. And business is booming, things are cranking. It seemed like people were just running to the church. In those 5 years, from 2005 to 2010, the Lord blessed. We had the bus route to the Bronx. And it's, man, what can go wrong? The Lord's blessing. Everything is great. Soon we're going to have 10,000 people. We're going to have 100 bus routes to New York. It's going to be great. The Lord is blessing. Well, that didn't exactly happen. In 2010, the story gets so much darker. Obviously, you know, that your left foot was amputated. And that was tough. And it just seems like things spiraled out of control from there. His health has never been the same. I remember as a kid, you know, at one point, you were pushing 400 pounds. And, you know, he was just Superman. I watched him pick up a piano one time. That was ridiculous. Superman. I mean, he'd pick up a washing machine and carry it up the stairs and come back out and get the dryer. And now he can't do that anymore. And that 2010, things started to change. Well, he's like, I'll arm wrestle you after the service. But things changed. And I tell you, the hardest thing, I think even more than his health, was it seems like every year since 2010, someone in the church or another pastor or a family member has just stabbed them in the back, ripped them to shreds, and then they leave. And you know, that's the characteristic is they cause terror and then they don't stick around to apologize or repent. They leave. And they do. And it seems like every year something like that happens. The biggest thing, you know, last year you had to have a good chunk of your leg removed. And, you know, spiritual turmoil last year. Through all of this, he has not had his own vehicle. Okay, scratch that. He had his own vehicle for about 5 months back in 2018. They were able to get Miss Amy a 20-year-old car. It was a Mercedes, but it was 20 years old. And they were happy. I mean, he's finally got his own car. It's not your dream car. It's not a truck or anything. But, you know, it's a vehicle, and it's your own. It's not a church van, right? And then one of the darkest days I ever remember in our family was the macro burst. In this area, you never see tornadoes. I've never seen a tornado in this area. And 8 tornadoes in one day back in 2018. Most of you remember that. We were on our way to Arizona for vacation. Things are great. You know, Rebecca's with us on our way. Things are great. And eventually, Zach is on his phone. He sees news updates about this macro burst and tornadoes and high winds, and pretty soon we're not getting texts and we can't get in touch with our family. What's going on? Something's wrong. The internet's not working. It's not going through. No one's contacting us. What's going on? The first contact we got was our neighbor saying that the biggest tree she had ever seen fell, clipped their house, and crushed both the cars. For the first time in 20 years, he had his own vehicle for a couple months, and then bam, it's gone. Their life, it's exactly what he preached on this morning. Just patient endurance, hoping that God's going to come through, hoping God's going to do something, waiting for God to come through. And, I mean, we've seen the Lord bless here, but in their own personal lives, it has been so much of a struggle. I can't tell you the amount of nights that they didn't sleep in their own bed. Dad would sleep in a small living room with his leg elevated in a recliner, and Mom just out on a creaky couch right next to him, and that's where they slept 95% of the nights the past 10 years. Mom has been his nurse, and that's just the way they've lived. And they have always been here, and they've never complained. Even through all of his health issues and all of Mom's struggles, they have never complained. They have always been here for us, and they have always served us. I told you all of that for 2 reasons. Number one, if I hear anybody else is lying and spreading rumors about them, they're going to get a boot to the teeth, I'll tell you that right now. Number 2, it's time we take care of our pastor and his wife. And we did it. So at this time, we have a small gift. Rebecca, if you'd come up with flowers. Pop, if you'd come up with the envelope. All right, if you wouldn't mind just looking in that envelope, there's something in there for you. And if you wouldn't mind just hitting the lock button on that thing and see what comes up. Lock button's on the left. There you go. Yep. We got you a truck. I'm going to give you a couple of the specs on this. Let me tell you something. We were looking for a truck. I did not think we were going to get one this nice. You're welcome. The church members and your friends and some family gave a lot of money and got a very nice truck for you. Hallelujah. This is a 2000 Ford Excursion. Has 121,000 miles. Has 8 seats. 4-wheel drive. Y'all ready for this? This is a massive engine. It's got a 6.8 liter V10. Okay. For context, the engine in the van is a 5.4 liter V8. This is a massive engine. I mean, this thing can pull a house down. The gas mileage isn't great. This thing is a monster. This truck has the capability of a Jeep, the comfort of a Cadillac, the strength of a tank, and it's got the size of an aircraft carrier. It was bought in Florida, so there's no rust. And we're going to let you take it for a spin. If you would like to see it, it's got plates and it's insured, so you can take it wherever you want. They'll be back in a few minutes if you'd like to see it. I mean, you invested in it. They'll be back in a few minutes. You can stick around, and let's give them another big hand. That's insane.
I hope you guys didn't. I hope nobody hurt yourself, honestly. honestly, financially, because that's just unbelievable. But thank you so much. I wasn't expecting any of that, and I appreciate your kind words, but, you know, you take care of me just fine. I'm blown away by that. So, well, let's go ahead, right? Let's give another big hand.